my name is Matt, and thank you so much for tuning into my channel, where I've got a nice size Star Trek collection that I've been showing off for the past couple of months. And in that collection, I've shown some of the best representations of figures in Diamond Select, and in ships with Diamond Select and Playmates, and in the XO6 collection that is ever growing and ever amazing to look at. It's had its ups and downs. You know, Eagle Moss has some goods and some bads, especially when it comes to stands. Their stands are horrid. They go along with the Diamond Select stands that have a lot of points of failure, and they just don't hold the ship very well. Here is an interesting thing that happened in 1992, because Playmates had the posable figure line of Star Trek figures, and so did Applause. Now, granted, these are not posable. These are PVC 4-inch figures from Applause. Specifically, they're from the Hamilton collection. But let's get into what Applause is. The Applause was founded in 1973 and later joined forces with Paramount Pictures in a licensing agreement that allowed them to produce several Star Trek series like plates and mugs and these figurines that you see, and kind of not great toys and different little collectible items. Some of these items were produced for Hamilton by Applause, which is what you see here. These are the Hamilton figures. And some of them were distributed by Enesco. The company produced many unique series of commemorative items, including mugs, on the Star Trek's 20th, 25th, 30th, and 40th anniversaries. I will say, I believe Applause is out of business right now. Yeah, they folded and entered into bankruptcy in 2004. So they had a nice run. They kind of started in 1966. They were a division of Knickerbocker Toys, which I have 2 Knickerbocker toys from the motion picture that are incredibly old and dusty and came out of somebody's basement, you know, because they just have that look at them. The boxes are a little torn, the figures are a little dingy, but they're kind of cool. But this is the line of PVC statues, a smattering of them. I am missing a couple. There was a Dr. Crusher. I don't have a Dr. Crusher in here. It's just an interesting menagerie here. The DS9 figures came in their own box that was falling apart. I just found them to be charming. They are not attractive in any way, shape, or form, but I just found them to be charming. And then this next generation presented itself. I think it was on eBay, and it had this little stand, and it had some missing places where you could put figures, and I think that's where your Doctor and several other figures. There was a Dr. Crusher and Geordi LaForge and several others that would have filled those holes, but I've kind of put the DS9 characters in here. Let's get started and take a look at these up close. And we'll start with this as great, not so great stand back here, kind of showing off everything. I like how this is a very Desilu font for the presents here, but you've got this Star Trek The Next Generation PVC figurines. It goes in the back here. It kind of sticks back there, it seems to. This is not a toy. And then on the back here we've got, so it contained 24 pieces at the time. I don't think this was in a box when I bought it. I think it was just shipped as is. And I don't think it cost very much. It might have been $12 at the time. Right now, I'm looking at these figurines in little bags on eBay, and they're like $64 for a couple. So for some reason, they've gone up in price. But I'll put this aside because it's, you know, it's just there, and it doesn't have anything to fall back into back here. So I'll just lean it up against the wall back there, because we're going to take a close look at all of these just for funsies. I mean, they are in varying degrees of okayness. I mean, as they stand, they are PVC little figurines that have no articulation. Some of them are rubbery. Some of them are a little hard. I don't know if that's due to the molding process or because they're just older, but we'll take a look here. We'll start with right here in the center. Got Captain Jean-Luc Picard. He doesn't look too bad. His eyes are in the right place. He's smiling. This is the first season uniform. You can see it's a jumpsuit, so there's no break between the sweater and the pants. You can kind of see a split in the boots down there. Take a look at the bottom here. There's a little, upside down, sorry. This is 92 Hamilton Gifts, which is a part of Applause, like I said at the very beginning. But, I mean, he looks really good. I mean, he's not meant to hold any accessories. I like that they put the stamp on the bottom rather than putting on the figure itself. It just makes for a nicer, cleaner figure. And like I said, the eyes are in the right place. I would say that that's a decent likeness for as small as this is, and the fact that it's a PVC figure of Captain Picard. Now, I could go from that to the extreme opposite, but I really want to save the opposites for the end, because they are, I mean, there are some that are great and some that are, wow, what were you thinking? So we'll go to this next one here. It's Data. Data's holding a tricorder, which actually looks okay. Brent Spiner represented here fairly well. Again, jumpsuit. Again, 92. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it other than the fact that, if you were to pass by them, unless you're absolutely looking for these figures, if you passed by them sitting on someone's shelf, you'd be like, those are weird. They're not great. And, his hand is molded to his pants there. But the paint's not horrible. I mean, it does kind of get on his finger there just a little bit, but, there's some detail work here. The comm badge is raised up, at least for the Delta, and he's got a tricorder in his hand. That's pretty cool. Let's see, next up, let's do some of these off the shelf. Some of these don't fit on there, and this one in particular, this one's unfortunate because you've got some sprue here where it came out of the mold, and interesting, like here, you could almost say that his pants are flared and, it's fine, but it's just very inconsistent. Actually, I take that back. It's actually quite consistent. Look at this. It stops in the exact same place. So I guess that's flare on his pants. The painting, it doesn't look terrible. Definitely a different person painted these eyes because they're just pupils rather than irises and pupils. Of course, he's pouring a drink because he's at the bar. Quark is. Let's see the bottom. Where's his stamp? Does he have a stamp? He might not have. Oh, there it is down there. It's really hard to see. So this one was 95? It is really hard for me to tell. You can tell better. I want to say that's 95 on there. But this was part of the DS9 pack that we'll kind of go through. It's just unfortunate because the way he sat in the package, the leg should stick out like this. And you can see there's a little bit of pliability here, and it's also kind of tacky. It's really, I mean, not tacky like, oh my God, I wouldn't put that anywhere. It's like tacky feeling, which is very interesting. A little bit of movement here. Got a couple fail points that might be a little scary if you started fiddling with it too much. Yeah, I mean, his leg you bend it out to try to give it some kind of stance so that it'll sit up properly, but it doesn't want to. So he's better off leaning up against the side of the stand here. Then we got another one that's off the stand here. It's Odo. And again, just pupils. He's got his little comm badge right there. His Bajorn comm badge. Bajorn outfit. Kind of... But he's phasing out of a bulkhead, which is something he did in the first season a couple of times. Melding in with bulkheads, becoming mice. And then they kind of moved away with him being so many different things all at once. Let's see if we got a better... 94. Okay, so Quark was 94. And they've relabeled it as Applause on here. What was this on the bottom? Did it say Hamilton on the bottom or did it say Applause? So this is from Hamilton because it's 92. And then these are registered under Applause in 94. So that's interesting. So these DS9 figures are under Applause. But, it's not terrible. I mean, it's not posable. There's still a play in the arm there, but it's not going to pose in any way. It's just basically just a little figurine. But that's Odo, and he's phasing out of a wall. We'll move on to another DS9 figure because I just think that this one's really dynamic. in a strange way. This is, of course, Jadzia Dax. You can tell because she's got her trill markings on the side of her face, plus the ponytail. But this one's really interesting because it's a little bit more involved. She's got a tricorder, and she looks like she's got her foot up on a bulkhead, but she's actually in a medical bay because there's a much larger representation of her because her shoulders are definitely not like that. And then you've got the symbiote in here. So I just think that that's very interesting. This is a bit more involved. It's got a bit more going on for it. And, you know, it's got a nice solid steady base, 94, for it to sit. But then, you know, it's got, she's working on a console. She's scanning. I don't know. It's not like that. So she's got her foot perched up right there. So she's on a vertical bio recumbent chair. I don't know. Something like that. And then her tricorder right there. I think that she looks really cool. Of course, there's no pupils there. Maybe these... we'll pick up another TNG figure. They must have just gone to a sloppier painting process to where they just dialed in pupils rather than actual irises and just painted white and then blue. Everybody's got blue eyes, even the Ferengi. Let's see here with Commander Sisko. And this is Commander Sisko. You can't really see his pips. I mean, I guess you kind of can. They didn't color them in. There's 3 of them there, so it is Commander. He's got his hand phaser, Type 2 hand phaser right there. He's calling for help on his communicator badge. And as you can kind of see, it's really hard to tell, but his eyes are brown. He does have a little bit of brown in there and then a little pupil inside of his eye. And they're fairly straight. This is obviously before he became captain. He's got his hair and no beard. So he's there. He's on a DS9 bulkhead, phaser ready, and calling ops to figure out what the heck's going on. There's nothing there. Where did they? Oh, see, that's upsetting. They put it on his back. There's plenty of room down here to put that bitty little blurb. Huh. That's unfortunate, but you know, you're just going to be looking at the front anyway. As it stands, it's a really nice looking little figure. And here comes everybody's favorite, Chief O'Brien. What a guy. What a hero. What a hero for the ages, you know? Again, where did they put his... Okay, so they put it on the back of this bulkhead, so that's good. But yeah, so he's running... I'm going to guess that this is a self-sealing... Ugh, it's hard to say. This is a self-sealing stem bolt. Say that 10 times fast, which is probably why they say it a lot, because somebody's like, say that 10 times fast. You know what? We will. We'll say it throughout the entire series. But it's really cool. He's got a wrench right there, a future wrench. And then all of this cord, and then I assume that that's some kind of conduit that plugs into somewhere. But yeah, that's our Chief O'Brien right there. And he's just got pupils. He doesn't have anything around his eyes. He's just staring into the abyss. Staring off into space. Perpetually alone. Trying to stay away from his wife and kid. And now, unfortunately, with the DS9 folks, we come to the weakest link. Goodbye. There's Major Kira, who is running? I mean, it looks like Major Kira, I suppose. Her Bajoran outfit is nice. It's well sculpted on here. Painted fairly well. I don't know this running stance that she's got going on here, but it is very interesting. I don't know anybody that runs like that unless she's low-fiving somebody. And when they put the applause thingy down here, which makes sense. You want to put it on her butt. But yeah, so there's Major Kira and her haircut and her beady eyes. So there are the DS9 figures. So let's start on the TNG ones that were earlier. And this, is, of course, is from the first season of Star Trek The Next Generation. Look at this. Very small words. Very, very small words. So small. 92. Okay. The Ferengi had his laser whip, and because they're primitive, I suppose. They're primitive and evil. They've come a long way, really. But look at those eyes. I don't know why he's got blue eyes. He just does. There's more depth. I mean, if we pick up Quark here, there just seems to be more going on. I mean, it looks like a grinning idiot here. And there's like depth, there's mouth. You can see that his teeth are at a point. You can see that his ears are bigger and more defined. The head is more pointed, whereas Quark's is more rounded. Yeah, so whatever they had going on in between Hamilton owning these and then Applause deciding to go cheap and quick and easy with it, there was some definite changes in how these looked. I mean, this is very detailed. You've got this goat skin singlet here, and then you've got his belt. I mean, it's just a little bit more intricate. And of course, he's on a rocky plane because all of this happens in some kind of, well, I mean, I think they all happen in some kind of fog-covered lightning hellscape of a planet. But that's where this episode takes place. Over there! Keeping with aliens, it's Q! Look at that smug bastard. Don't mind the bulge. I don't know why. Artistically, not sure why they went with that. But there you go. This is when he became human for a little while. In the... Was that a second or third season? Might have been a third season. That says 92 on it. So, really nice representation. Very caricature, almost Pixar-y with the size of the nose and the head being long like that. But the detail's actually pretty fantastic. He's got individual fingers when he's holding his hands and arms like that. Check out that butt. There's just so much. It's so weird how we've gone from this to this in a span of 2 years? They just decided, hey, we're going to slop it up a little bit. People will buy it regardless. That kind of a thing that some toy manufacturers tend to go. But yeah, I think that this is a really great looking figure. Here comes a Klingon. Wonder if that's supposed to be Worf's brother. Kind of looks like him a little bit. Disruptor on the hip there. Actually, it's painted very well. There's a lot of detail here. The ridges are a little smoother than I probably would have liked, but that's just a molding thing. But his face just looks great. Black eyes, actually looks like eyes. Nose is a little crooked. And then his mouth is very distinguishable. He's got a beard that is incredibly distinguishable. I mean, look at that. It hangs off of his face, even though the back of it's painted in that Klingon brown. Hands. These figures, even though they are cheapy and PVC and they don't move, as figures go, they're actually quite interesting and quite fun to look at up close. But that's your Klingon. I guess speaking of Klingons, here's Worf. Now this is a different outfit for Worf. Of course, as you know, he started season 1 in a red uniform, and we've switched, and you can kind of see the partition here between the sweater and the pants. Whereas on Picard here, there is no partition between the two, so this is obviously a representation of season 1 and 2. This is definitely more of a representation of season 3 and beyond. Is there a date on this one? I think these are all 92. Yeah, these are all from 92. So, yeah, so he's got a tricorder in his hand. The eyes, I'm going to guess that their painter was sick that day because the eyes are a little bit whiffy. His beard and mustache do not align up very well. You know, and that's the inconsistency with these hand-painted little figures like this. Um, you get a lot of inconsistency between people that are doing the motion, going through the motions and whatnot. And, you know, you got part of the mustache beard missing there, some of more of it not quite up high enough over there. The hair's a little waxy. Of course, it's a giant thing of PVC. I mean, it's a lump of PVC. So, but the sash is great, and the communicator's raised up, and it looks nice. But all in all, that's a pretty good looking figure. I've saved the two that blow my mind in a funny way for last here. So this is your Borg. I mean, everything right and everything wrong all at the same time. I don't understand. Maybe they didn't want to do a mouth that day, so they decided to put a plate over it. The eye has so much depth. I mean, there's a lot of depth there. You can see the pupil. There's an iris there. There's an eyeball. It's just the depth. I'll keep repeating that. It's just the depth. It just looks like an amazingly spooky face. And then, you know, you got the red over the eye here, which is an apparatus, which looks good as well. But then they decide to do this piece of plastic here over the mouth, which is kind of an interesting choice. I don't ever remember one looking like that. But, you know, the outfit's good. They're brown. I don't remember them being brown. I thought they were all black. I thought every bit of it was black. Maybe they were just trying to differentiate pieces and whatnot. They've got these colors on the buttons that look amazing. Even on the arm, there are colors on the buttons and lights. One of those, they hit it out of the park thematically, but the brown is an interesting choice, and the fact that they're covering his mouth with this piece here is very weird. But I mean, all in all, other than that little distracting thing, and it is pretty distracting, the depth of that eye will always catch me off guard. I mean, that looks really cool. So yeah, I mean, hit and miss. A lot more hits than miss, but you know, that thing over the mouth definitely just throws you for a loop. And now, hello, Marina. Hello, counselor. I just want to apologize right off the bat here. The face and head sculpt look great. Look at the detail in the hair. Her ribbon is up there. It flows down her back. There's even strands right there. You've got this lovely jumpsuit. The badge is a lot less 3D than the others, but it's there. But then her eyes. It's like someone decided to paint one on Monday and then they decided to paint the other one on Friday. I mean, that's what we're looking at here. There's an iris. There's a pupil. There's detail around the eyes for mascara. Her eyebrows look amazing. Her face looks great. The lipstick, the nose, it looks wonderful. And then you get to those eyes. And it's just like, I'm sorry, counselor. They did you dirty back in '92, and I don't know why. Oh, look at the feet. They've even got her feet. It's kind of not great there, though. They've definitely got some over application there, and I honestly don't think maybe that's a mistake. Maybe that's the color of the rubber underneath and they just didn't get to the tips of her feet. But then again, it looks like they've got, well, no, see, yeah, those should be black, I think, because they got the splits there. Yeah, those should be black, and that's unfortunate. But, you know, and the figure itself looks great. It's just look me in the eye. Pick one. And so that's my Applause Hamilton figurine collection of 4-inch PVC Star Trek figures. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and we'll catch you next video. Bye!